Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about the top 5 rogue strategies you should try out for March 2021. We're into a mixture of Evo Booster and some non-Evo Booster decks. I'm kind of in a weird spot here because I know a lot of people in the world do have Evo Booster, but us here in America, we're not getting it until late March, so we're kind of playing catch up in that regard. But yeah, we're going to talk about some Evo Booster decks. We're going to talk about some other decks in the set 12 format that aren't quite meta, but are very playable and particularly strong. So if you guys are new here, definitely subscribe, hit that bell to miss video. If you guys want to help support the channel, there are many ways down in the description to do so. Particularly today, if you want to buy or pre-order any of the cards you see in today's video, use my link in the description to TCG Player. It does help out a great deal. That being said, let's jump right in. So firstly, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about Blue Yellow Gohan. It's been a little while, probably over a week now since I've done a Blue Yellow Gohan video. Yes, I made this deck. Yes, I think the deck is incredibly fun. I think the deck's in a really good spot in this format. Definitely a rogue deck. Definitely a rogue deck. Only 2 different times that this deck topped an event. So in terms of numbers, that's definitely going to place this at a rogue spot. But I do think it's very powerful. Only bad matchup I really experienced with the deck is Dark Broly. And yes, Dark Broly is very popular in the meta right now. But it's not like it was when Vegex was around, right? Like Vegex was stomping the format. You would play Vegex almost every other round of a tournament. Dark Broly, not quite that way. I took this deck to PPG Miami, the Invitational there, and I only played against Dark Broly 1 round. So I think the room was just so diverse and the meta was so diverse that you're not likely going to run into Dark Broly very often. I do have a video, it's not actually my video, but it is on No Counters, No Combos. Shout out to Adrian. I did some gameplay at his local. He recorded it and posted it on his channel. So if you want to see what that game looked like, go over to No Counters, No Combos. I do actually end up beating Dark Broly in that game. So it is very beatable. It's not like it's an unwinnable matchup. I kind of want to just get that out of the way because it is a negative matchup. Not saying this deck is perfect, it beats everything, but I do think this deck is very well positioned against the rest of the room. You know, we're seeing that kind of revival of Arrival there. And Bojack is just an insane card. Yes, as Bojack gets more popular, you know, problems like this happen where you have to worry a bit more about your opponent answering Bojack. Like, for instance, Mecha Frieza has one of the best times answering it because of the ability to use Vegeta's Final Flash for free. That is a little bit annoying. I think the Mecha matchup is very easy to clean up as long as you play it correctly. That would be like charging an untapped energy turn 1. That would be, you know, definitely not tapping out. I would even wait to play Bojack probably until turn 3. Because if you're not allowing them to resolve Unite Assemble, they're not going to have many battle cards to attack you with. So going into turn 3, you should be at 6-5, maybe 4 life. Play Bojack, then on turn 3, you have no real risk of being tapped out and losing really big advantage to Mecha Frieza. But the other matchups, I think King Piccolo is very favorable. Even Red Broly, I think, is very doable once you get to like turn 2, turn 3, start to stabilize there. I think this deck's very well positioned in the meta. It doesn't get a whole lot of support in Evo Booster. Pure blue yellow didn't get a ton as opposed to like, you know, green blue and some other color combinations like green yellow, but still I think the deck is very good. It's very fun. If you like mid-range, this is the perfect example of a mid-range deck in the modern format. I really recommend it to you guys. Then we've got Vegex. Yes, how the mighty have fallen. Vegex used to run the game through sets 10 and 11 and even a little bit past that. But Vegex is definitely now at a more comfortable power level. I would definitely classify this as a rogue deck. Sometimes you'll see one in top cut, oftentimes you won't. This deck just doesn't seem to be quite as strong when you're looking at mono black, at least compared to Dark Broly. But Vegex still does insanely powerful things. There's been a little bit of talks in the community. I've seen some Facebook posts. I even said something myself in a previous video that free play in the game is getting kind of out there. I mean, I guess you could say for a long time it's been out there. Yeah, it's Dragon Ball Super. People want the game to hit hard and fast. And honestly, if every deck is played by a curve, I could definitely see the game being a bit more boring, but I just say that all to say that Vegex obviously does some of the most broken stuff in the game by playing many battle cards for free. Like, not many decks can match Vegex in raw combo power, because now the deck generally plays 3 or 4 copies of Boo's Human Extinction Attack. You've got all your Supreme Kais that come into play when they're milled. Those give you 10k combo when your hand's 5 or less, and of course you got your different super combos. So Vegex has insane pushing power and insane combo power. A lot of Vegex builds, though, from what I've seen, are kind of taking this more mid-rangey route, where you're kind of just looking to grind your opponent out of resources. You're playing a lot of the one-drop silver bullets, particularly Goku True Fighting Spirit in the main board, just to punish your opponent when they activate counters. But you've also got Demon God Demigra. Your leader, you know, milling 5 sets you up pretty much perfectly for that. Let's say you mill on turn 1, you hit maybe like 1 or 2 cards into play. turn 2, maybe you hit like 3 cards into play, your drop area will pretty much be set up to play a Demon God Demigra on that turn 2. So the synergy with the deck is really high. So Vegex just seems to be in a really good spot as far as an aggro deck is concerned. Again, really nice that it's a rogue level deck now, not so much a super high tier, almost tier 0 deck, right? Then we've got Android 16, one of the decks coming out in Evolution Booster. I've been having a lot of fun testing Android 16. I actually just released a Patreon article yesterday talking about my thoughts initially on the competitive aspects of 16, 21, and Napa. And 16 is really interesting. Yes, of course, you can play the pure blue-green route. You can go something for like a ramp into Android 17 and 18 Siblings Revived. This deck can do that relatively effectively. Personally, I think it does it a little bit less effectively than Android 21, so I would just kind of throw that, advisory out there. But what's really cool is you can actually go into tricolor Android 16 super easily thanks to cards in Evo Booster like Android 14, 15 Target Acquired. This card says that it is a free green-yellow combo as long as your leader is yellow or an android. The android part does not specify what color it has to be, so just playing blue Android 16, you're able to combo this as a free 5k green-yellow combo that gives you access to cards like SS Broly All Out Assault, Krillin 18 Power Couple. Krillin 18 Power Couple is also an android that has synergy with your leader to be discarded once you attack the leader on the unawakened side. I do have some ideas for tricolor Android 16. I'll probably bring this deck profile on the channel maybe this week, maybe next week. I'm still kind of working out and fine-tuning the deck, but it's been a lot of fun. It's really cool and creative, the fact that you can go into tricolor pretty easily. I know there's a lot of players out there who like their tricolor deck, so stay tuned for that if you want to see something along those lines. Then we've got Napa. Napa's a really cool one. It's one that I've been enjoying testing, mostly because the deck is so unique, right? So Napa, instead of drawing by taking a life here, you play Cybermen, and the Cybermen are typically blockers, but there's also the new 1-drop red Cybermen in Evolution Booster that says when it's KO'd, you can KO one of your opponent's battle cards that of 10k power or less. And there are many ways in red in general, but also just tied to Napa, that you can reduce the power of battle cards and kind of one-shot them when your Cyberman dies, right? So Napa is having some generally good matchups that other decks don't have, right? Like this deck just spitting out blockers, turn 1 play a blocker, turn 2 play a blocker, and turn 2 also play Napa testing the opposition. You put out 2 more blockers, excuse me. That just gives you a good matchup against really random things that other decks generally struggle against, like Reboot Gohan, for instance, Red Broly, for instance. You just put out so much free defense that it's hard for those aggro decks to push through. I think Napa struggles just a bit against different control decks, just because, in matchups where the blockers don't really matter, your lack of hand size is much more of an issue. But again, against those aggro decks, the blockers are quite good. One of the really cool interactions is that Yamcha Wolfang pitching fastball, the unison printed for the deck. It's +1 on your awakened side, pretty much removes any 30k in the game, right? So you go +1, you KO one of your Cybermen auto goes into pending, but you finish the Yamcha's effect to -10k something, then your awakened leader can -10k that same card, and then your Cyberman can KO it now because it's 10k or less power. So really cool, neat combo there. Napa's been a really fun deck in testing. I would recommend trying it out. Then we've got Tien. Tien is on the lower end of my spectrum as far as like competitive viability of Evolution Booster goes, but I think there could be something here that does sort of revitalize green, right? So Tien, I think, has a lot of good things going for him. So once per game, every game, you search Chaozu. The Chaozu's a blocker. When it dies, you get to play a free 15k Tien to the field. I really don't think that the old school Tien Tao combo is all that great. Yes, there is now a way to cheat in the old school Mercenary Tao, but it's kind of energy expensive, and it requires your opponent to either take damage or let a unison get attacked. And yeah, there's cards like Chilled Greatest Pirate Warrior that do similar things, but that card gets played for free, right? As opposed to this new Tao, which does not. So there's just some weird trade-offs there. But I do think Goku and Tien long-awaited rematch are very good value for how much you pay for them. So basically, you could put Goku in play for 1, then you could put Tien in play for 2, so a total of 3 energy. And for that 3 energy, you get a 25k triple striker and a 20k double striker that is a deflect board wipe. So I do think that's some pretty solid value there as far as Tien's concerned. Awakening, getting 3 tokens is almost like drawing 3 cards. if those 3 cards were purely just combo power, but it's a little bit weird just because your backside you want to have a lot of Tiens in play so you can get your leader effect to be a 20k critical. But besides that, deck's really cool. Again, I think it's got some good rates for it, some good boss monsters going for it. Hope you guys try it out. But anyways guys, that's going to wrap up today's video. Overall, the meta is very diverse. I don't think Evolution Booster is coming in like, you know, maybe Draft Box 4 and Draft Box 5 did back in the day and completely shifting up the meta, but I do think there are some really cool decks to take a look at, try them out. I think they can kind of fit in there in the puzzle that is the meta. I think they can kind of fit in there, do some kind of neat, interesting things. But again, I hope you guys try them out. Of course, let me know in the comments below if you have other recommendations for rogue decks in this meta. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I will see you guys in the next one.